वफा किया है हम उसको निभाएंगे अहदे वफा किया है
Khilafat, a blessed institution which is like a lifeline to the world, an institution directly established by God to continue and carry on the tasks of a prophet. A prophet of God sows the seeds of spiritual reformation and moral training, and a Khalifa protects and nurtures it till it becomes a strong tree. Just as God raises prophets for the reformation of mankind, so does He commission the Khalifas after them, and this makes the institution of Khilafat an offshoot or a branch of the system of prophethood. But what makes our Khilafat different? What makes Khilafat Ahmadiyya divine as compared to other religious leaders?
To me, the biggest difference between the Ahmadiyya institution of Khilafat and that of other religious leaders revolves around three aspects, and that's focus, love, and obedience. When we look at the institution of Khilafat, and I visited Ahmadi Jamaats all over the world, that same focus is there in every single Jamaat. The same love for the Khilafat is there, and the same obedience is there. Now, the focus is on the message he is giving us on a regular basis. In fact, not just during his Friday sermons, on all the addresses he gives. He's giving us direction, and he's admonishing us and teaching us how we can evolve spiritually and come into contact with God. So I see that all over the world, that not only is the focus there, the attention is on that message, and because we have such love for the institution of Khilafat, we obey what he tells us to do. And that to me, those three aspects are the biggest differences between other leaders of other religions and the institution of Khilafat within the Ahmadiyya Jamaat.
The institution of Khilafat is that blessed heavenly system of guidance granted by Allah the Exalted to a community of believers for their spiritual permanence and development. The significance of this divine bounty is like the rope of Allah. Firmly holding on to it is a verification of their belief as well as a guarantee for their peace, security, and spiritual advancement.
The first thing the Holy Quran mentions is that through Khilafat, Allah would establish the glory of religion. Allah would change the state of fear which the believers face into state of peace for them. Then Allah tells us that it would be through Khilafat that true worship of God would be established in the earth. And then true unity of God would be established. We have seen that all these four indications, all these four promises of Allah have been fulfilled in the case of Khilafat Ahmadiyya.
God, through His complete authority, bestows the office of Khilafat to the Khalifa. God makes a Khalifa, and none has the authority to dismiss him from this office. He is helped by God. God's help is with him at every moment.
As a man of truth, and he's a man that has the courage to speak the truth. And when I listen to him speak the truth and say things like they are in the world, and what leaders need to do and what countries need to do to improve their condition and move towards world peace, to establish international justice and absolute justice, I'm proud, and I'm very proud that he has that courage to speak the truth, and his only concern is pleasing his Allah, pleasing his Creator. He has no concern for any other politician or what anybody else in the world thinks of him.
God becomes his teacher and guide. He acquires religious knowledge and discernment from God. God himself generates love and affection for him in others' hearts, and these circles of love and devotion continue to widen. Illumined by the light of God, he becomes the fountainhead of light, and then he is bestowed the miracle of acceptance of prayers. Obeying him is actually obeying the Prophet whose Khalifa he is, and this very obedience ultimately guarantees connecting that person with the obedience of God.
The 100 years of Khilafat have already passed. And those who have a glimpse, who know history, will know that the favors of Allah that have been showered on the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, had the Khalifatul Masih not been in direct contact with God the Almighty, these successes would never have happened. So these are the signs that Allah Ta'ala has given, and that is why the Ahmadiyya Jamaat has prospered from day to day. Not a day rises when Ahmadiyya does not go to a higher level. And that is how this flag of Ahmadiyyat, this seed of Ahmadiyyat, this seedling of Ahmadiyyat has now been firmly planted in over 200 countries of the world.
The history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is witness to the fact that under the guidance of Ahmadiyya Khilafat, it has acquired a distinguished and eminent global identity. It has emerged as a community following the precepts set by the Holy Prophet ﷺ of Islam. The whole world is well aware of its efforts in the fields of the propagation of Islam, education, and its work for humanity. The community is spreading the beautiful teachings of Islam as the vanguard of the high values of love, peace, and tolerance, and for upholding the law of the land. It is held in esteem for promoting mutual love and respect and rejecting violence in the strongest of terms. United under the banner of Khilafat, it continues to fight against ignorance, disease, hunger, and immorality. By obeying the Khilafat in letter and spirit, the community continues to be the recipient of divine support and continues to prosper the world over.
खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है सरासर नूर और रहमत इल्म और हिकमत का गुलिस्ता है खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है सरासर नूर और रहमत इल्म और हिकमत का गुलिस्ता है खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है